for your contributions, because your contributions have been easily seen. These tournaments have been it's been copied out there, what the formats and how to do things, and putting live streams to things, all of these things. I just wanted to thank my broadcast partner. I wanted to thank my other friends that have worked with me very hard. Now, none of this came easy, did it?
No, it hasn't, but and it's still not easy. But
do you remember our first live stream stuff? Do you remember how terrible it was?
I really do. We were driving. We were driving 2.5 hours to live stream for pretty much free.
Well, I'm going to tell you what. Not only that, we would go by the directions of Siri. And one time, Siri tried to put us in the middle of a river, I think. I mean, it was just unbelievable what was going on in these first live streams.
Yeah, I remember it was Benton. Ray said, ask Mickey and get out over with the Bob G's.
Jeez.
What the heck, Ray? 5-5 race?
For who? Who? Who is it?
Tyler and Vince.
We've got Tyler the Mad Dad Cordova versus Vince Parsons, who we've not given a nickname to yet.
Razor Ray Schultz didn't make it today. I believe he had to work. Work sucks.
He didn't make it to where?
To the tournament.
To which tournament?
This tournament.
Well, of course he didn't make it to the tournament. He's on the live stream talking to us.
I know. I'm just saying. We miss him over here.
Hey, Ray, you're not even supposed to hear me talking because you always mute me. So I don't know what you're even saying. He'll be like, huh? I can't hear you.
Can't hear you.
Stuff like that. Anyway, thanks. I'd like to thank you for your support too, Ray. That was the deal. It was nice seeing you last month come up for the pub tournament there, and we'd like to see you next tournament we have next week if you can. So come on out.
I do want to thank Ray. Ray's been a big supporter of what OnCue does, and recently we decided to start adding a break and run pot. We were trying to figure out a way to start it with some cash.
Where is it?
Well, we've been raffling off some sticks.
Oh.
Some Nick Varner sticks that I'm going to plug Nick Varner. Nick gave us the sticks. Ray was cool enough to negotiate that with Nick and even bring the sticks to me. So we're in the process of raffling these sticks off. So through the winter time, we can try to build a pretty nice 10-ball break and run pot. So, Ray, thank you.
10-ball break and run pots are popular, aren't they?
Yes.
It's going to be on the 9-foot?
On the 9-foot, yes.
Okay, cool. So, yes, we'd like to thank Ray Schultz. Ray Schultz says, I've been flirting with you. You being Mickey, I'm assuming.
Well, I'm a little cuter than you are, so maybe me. I hope you ain't flirting with you.
I hope I'm not flirting with any of these guys. That'd be terrible.
But Ray makes it to almost every one of our tournaments, and he's a big he's a big supporter of the.
I tell you what, pool. One of the funnest tournaments I've played in the last couple of years was a 5s and under tournament down at Rockies. It was really a great time. I mean,
who won that?
I'm not going to say it was James. It was James BMC Harris.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, it was the one opportunity that we had to go down there and take some of Owensboro's money and bring it back up to Indiana.
You're right. They definitely take a lot of this.
Because I got some myself, and that made me happy. But I had James BMC Harris in the Calcutta for $20, and he wins the tournament. It was pretty big. It was a good tournament. It had some sponsorship to where it ended up being $300 added, I think. Jody Bevins.
Jody Bevins.
Yeah, Bevan,
yeah.
He donated money for that. It was awesome. Ray Schultz says he can't make it next week, so we would like to see you down there. But, of course, life gets in the way of pool sometimes, doesn't it?
Well, pool gets in the way of life sometimes, too.
It does. It works both ways. That's the nature of these things. Siri will put you in the middle of a river, and it was like frozen over. So we tried to get across it, but oh man,
anytime you travel to Southern Illinois, there's a good chance you're going to end up beside some water in the middle of a cornfield.
I said we come out
cemetery.
We come out. Well, cemeteries are here in Evansville too. I mean, I've run into cemetery ditches there as well. But we're sitting there. We're going out of Benton. If you see the graphics of these first ones too, it's just so terrible compared to what they've become.
It really was.
In fact, the absolute first one was me versus Chuck Austin, and it wasn't broadcast live, but it was recorded.
Right.
And it just says our name. It just says that. That's about it. We had some problems with some internet here and all that, and everything has just come so far. I mean, even the blackout curtains to make sure that we have no shadows at certain times. I mean, no shadows might be an extreme.
Well, to say how much that we really enjoy doing it, and we enjoy doing it right, and I'll tell you a story.
My God, if we ever got to doing it right, we'd beat somebody, wouldn't we?
Well, I'll tell a story that says how much we put into doing it right. We went to a tournament one time about 2 hours away to stream it. And
Where?
We was in a pole building, a place called Froggy's.
Oh, I knew you were going to go to Froggy's.
And
because this is one of the disastrous
well,
ones.
there was no internet, so we couldn't stream it, and so we recorded it.
This was one of the funnest moments of my entire pool life. And to bring this up is actually pretty funny.
So what we do, if we give this recording to Bob, and Bob sits in his basement. Now keep in mind, this is an 8, 10, 12-hour tournament. Bob puts commentary to the recording as a voiceover for the 8 to 10, 12 hours.
It must have been a million hours. I think I'm still actually putting voiceover for that tournament.
He did that before we uploaded it to the website, and so
I got so many comments. I got so many comments from people saying that was some of the best commentary you did. And they're like, they didn't know I was in my basement.
It wasn't even there.
Yeah, I wasn't even there. It was ridiculous. If anybody would have seen it and seen what I was doing during it, they'd be like, that is absolutely insane.
It was awesome. It really was.
It was. I mean, it came out pretty good. I mean, I wish there would have been more of those Froggies tournaments to have happened to get on live stream. But sometimes we don't always get what we want. Right? That's what Mick Jagger says.
Well, you're right, but that just shows the dedication that we put into this at certain times.
I had a boom mic. I'm laying on my couch. I had a boom mic over the top of me with the TV on the wall, looking at it. Just kind of laying there,
just
going,
putting
"Oh my gosh, I just want to die because this is the 10th hour," and it was fun.
But it turned out great. It really did. It turned out really good.
It did.
Bob worked real hard on that. Something that none of the other OnCue members could have endured doing.
Well, I mean, one thing is about me is that I've got a unique talent that is unique amongst not just the OnCue group, but just pretty much everybody on Earth. I can talk for 14 straight hours.
You've proven it.
I've proven it. It's actually the thing that gets me is my butt hurts. My butt hurts over the course of this time, and I get tired. And then that's when I get insane, and that's when Ray Schultz mutes me.
But I thought that was a funny story that I
It was a good one. It's a real good one, actually.
It was a good story to have, and.
Speaking of Team OnCue members, isn't it good to see Tyler Cordova having some success here? We've not seen much of him in tournaments.
No, and I mean, I seen him right at the bat today, and it wasn't pretty. He played phenomenal against me and beat me 4-2.
Oh, Ray Schultz has got the secret. That's why my live stream was so good when it was recorded.
You knew then.
I finally knew.
So he was watching it, going back. Then he could say
maybe
right.
That's what I did. Maybe I just watched the entire thing and went back. That was probably a good idea if I would have thought of it.
At least you'd have been right every single time.
Oh, if you're every single time right, that takes away some of the excitement. My being terrible and not knowing what I'm doing is actually one of the strengths of the OnCue broadcast, in my opinion.
Hey, speaking of bad commentating, how about the Moscone Cup last year? The commentators, they were wrong every single time.
I mean, it wasn't every time, but
it was a lot.
But I was sitting there watching going, man, I'm making better calls than this in my own mind.
It was some of the worst I've ever seen in my life.
It really was. I mean, I
remember
watching that. I was going, oh, my gosh.
I don't even know who was commentating, but it was so bad.
Well, please, whoever it was, I hope you're not watching right now. But if you are, do a better job this year.
I hope they are, so they'll know that.
Give them feedback.
They were wrong.
Give them feedback. Yeah.
It was bad.
Yeah. That feedback, maybe they'll have it this year. Speaking of which, it's coming up, the Moscone Cup. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, it is.
Oh, look at that. That is tough. I didn't think to comment on it because it was just a gimme. And that's the kind of shots I miss. And that's why I commentate.
Yeah, well, the Moscone Cup, it is coming up. We got some newbies this year.
Not Corey Deuel.
Not Corey Deuel, not Skylar Shane, but we got Tyler Styler.
Tyler Styler. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yes, he's a newbie. The guy plays really, really good. Some people said, hey, Tyler earned a spot. He's earned a spot as much as anybody else.
Absolutely.
He went to the tour and went to the tournaments, and I've seen him play.
Who's the fifth person?
The fifth one is...
my mind is... I'm losing it. Ray Schultz, help us.
Corey, Shane, Skylar, Tyler.
Shoot. My mind's gone.
I can see it. I made a post about him.
Thorpe, Billy Thorpe.
Billy Thorpe.
Hey, I did good. Yeah, Billy Thorpe is actually one. Did you go up with us to Derby City when he had his run?
No.
I tell you what, Billy Thorpe has been coming on the last couple of years, but his Derby City run a couple of years ago was really pretty magical. Did he come in? Was it first in one pocket?
He did. God, he played
and
good.
I mean, he played good but strange. It was not the.
Well, he played young.
It was not your typical one pocket.
No, he played young, new to the game, but the guy was fearless and made balls. And
oh, we didn't see your name.
Thanks, Ray. But you know what?
Hey, thanks, Ray. I actually got it before you put it in there. Yeah.
But you know what? People don't understand that this Moscone team is about building a future team. It's about taking some guys that got some raw talent and honing them to play as a team.
Well, absolutely. I mean, the thing is, you've got some experience in Skyler in that he's done it, which is odd considering how young he is. But you've also got a guy like Billy Thorpe who I think is going to be, kind of that, one of those guys that really steps up.
Well, there's no doubt. I think that Skyler and Billy and Tyler Steyer and maybe Mitch Ellerman, maybe these are some of the future of the Moscone Cup.
Yeah, we should find out.
So
the one thing I do kind of don't like that I kind of wanted Bergman to come back because Bergman and Sky together were really good during that one a couple of years ago.
You're right. They played really well together, and there's no doubt that Bergman's one of the top players in the country. But the deal is that's all over. This is our team, and it's time to support the team we have.
Well, of course I support the team. I mean,
I know, and
I will lose my mind in supporting them during it. In fact, I will be up in the middle of the night when some of that stuff's going on because, well, I've got nothing better to do.
I'm just tired of hearing this is BS, blah blah. Some of these people need to get on board with what it is. This is our team, and let's support our team.
Well, man, I tell you what, I can say that in so many different areas. A lot of times people get to be where they want wins on everything. They want everything to be just so. And I tell you what, sometimes you got to build. Sometimes you got to take time to, because I love Mark Wilson being the guy for the team, but it didn't get it done in the end.
Right.
And you can't take the guy anything away from the guy. The guy's a great. I mean, he's a great announcer. Two, he's a great. I mean, the stuff he's done in Linden University, is that Lindenwood is university?
Lindenwood, yeah.
That stuff is all good. I mean, it didn't happen. I mean, who was the last coach to pull off an American win?
Oh, gosh.
I don't know. I mean, that's a good question.
I don't know.
Could he have been from Owensboro?
Well, no, wasn't Mark Wilson in coaching back then? He was.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I just remember that
Johnny Archer was on there and Oscar Dominguez. I think
it's just been. It was before my time, so I don't know these things.
I think Mark Wilson was the coach back then.
It's been a while.
Ray, if your tape ain't delaying too much, maybe you might have an answer for us.
Oh, no, of course he will.
Was Mark Wilson the last coach we had when we won the Moscone Cup with Oscar and Shane and Corey and...
It's a good question.
Mike DeShane, I think, was in that team.
Nick is the answer, which is why Crazy Bob was asking.
So Nick was the coach, awesome.
That's what I was going to bring out, but I just wanted to make sure.
Tyler says, hey, guys, you're 100 points higher than me, but watch this.
Don't you worry about me. I'm going to come up here and swing at the fences, and I'm going to knock one over the fence.
Watch this.
Let's do this.
Because, really, Vince is a 580-something,
yep.
Where Tyler's a 517.
Yeah.
But
which should be about one game normally, wouldn't it? I mean,
you would...
I'm not sure what the situation is.
It's normally about 68 points, so maybe Vince isn't that high.
Yeah, it's hard to say. You'd
maybe
have to
Vince
look at all this stuff.
570.
Hey, we've got Molly Hahn here. I want to thank Molly Hahn for all of her support in last month's pub tournament. She made some great burgers that we were selling. Somehow they were cheeseburgers and hamburgers were the same price. I guess whoever was in charge of pricing of those things was...
Well, someone needs to tell the restaurants that, because every time I get a burger at a restaurant, they charge me 50 cents extra for a piece of cheese.
I would have charged $1 extra if you came in for a piece of cheese. My God, whatever it takes. But anyway, no, thank you, Molly Hahn. Your support has been excellent. Just want to thank you for everything that you've done. It's just like I said, coming up here at this time, for me, it's actually kind of tough. Like I said, there's some loss and stuff that's going on, and just grieving that's going on from losing a good friend. But at the same time, like I said, the celebration of that stuff is really good. So seeing you on here, thank you for watching. This is Crazy Bob here. This is a special, absolutely special, what I say, special guest announcer, Crazy Bob, return to the OnCue mic. It's that kind of special.
I see.
Yeah.
You had to read that. You're on cue.
You had to read me. Yeah, we don't have anybody to really do that. Kind of like Monday. Crazy Bob, we'll be back. I mean, I'd have to do it myself. That's just like we don't have like production trucks and stuff. We got to do all this stuff yourself. Do you carry this shit in?
Well, me personally, no, I didn't. I just had surgery a week ago, so carrying stuff is not good for me.
I'll tell you what, I do appreciate you carrying some stuff over there to help me today. I appreciate it, but it was small stuff.
Well, that was yesterday, but okay.
Today, yesterday, it's all the same.
Well, it's kind of.
It is. Speaking of which, last week's tournament, I want to thank Devin Watson for losing to me. And no, it wasn't Devin Watson who lost to me. That's where I got confused. It was someone else. Who was it?
So not only you beat someone, now you're going to rub it in their face?
Oh, I didn't get an opportunity to because, as it turns out, it was the wrong person.
Okay.
I'm crazy, so Devin Watson, I want to thank you for not playing me because if you would have played me, you would have beat me, and then you would be able to get on the live stream and make fun of me.
Devin was on my 9-ball BCA team that won the city tournament.
Devin Watson.
Wasn't he on it when we played you guys' team at the end of the year?
What do you get when you mix an elephant and a rhinoceros?
I don't know.
Elephino.
I've heard that.
You've heard that. There you go. Devin Watson was on my...
no, wasn't he on my 9-ball BCA team?
I believe he was. I don't want to talk about that. But we would like to talk about the mid-session tournament.
I think by his response, yes.
Who knows? Who knows what that response means?
He was on my team.
I don't even know what that is. Is that like a lemon?
No, that's saying, ha-ha, mothers.
Oh, I think it's a lemon. It looks like a lemon with some water coming out of it. I don't know what that is. But yeah, it's a great deal. This is the hot seat match of this tournament, right?
It is.
What did we think? Because this one thing we didn't really discuss too much is the nature of how Fargo Rate is relating to this tournament. You kind of brought into some of it, but there's a thing called match charts.
Yeah, fair match charts, and it's awesome because you go to it and it tells you based on what your rating is what the race is.
And it's now So I think a point that I would have made, and one of the reasons really why I like Fargo Rate so much, is it's just a rating system. It's just it's a way to put one number down that gives you the information for the results of the history of that person's wins and losses versus other people's wins and losses
Correct.
that are related. So there are various skills. It is a number that is a mathematically sound number. Now the question is, what do you do with that number? Fargo gives you some suggestions. They don't necessarily say this is how you should run a tournament. They're independent in a way that they do not have anyone telling them how to run everything, but they do have a pretty good relationship with CSI for their pool leagues and such. Because what happens is sometimes you get to where one thing has to be done a certain way. Well, if you could use that Fargo Rate number in any way possible, well, there's going to be some things that people use the number in ways that aren't very good. And there's going to be people who use the numbers in ways that are awesome, that are different and unique. Because what do they have? Match charts, fair match. They've got some other things like what are the percentage of expected.
There's so much you can do. And you can actually go through.
Make your own.
If you're an operator, like of BCA, for example, that uses Fargo for their handicap system, you can go through and see a match, every match somebody's played that's been powered by Fargo Rate in their entire life.
Well, and absolutely, and in fact, that's another point I think to bring up about Fargo, is that, and even BCA for that matter, BCA is a sanctioning body for independent pool leagues, and independent pool leagues can really run their pool league however they want, but their national tournament is run by Fargo, one with a Fargo Rate setup. So that is one of those deals where it really allows for a flexibility that the other leagues don't have out there, and that flexibility in and of itself is really a key feature that made OnCue choose BCA sanctioning as the appropriate body, because we felt that Evansville needed a league for Evansville.
Well, you're right. The flexibility that it gives makes it where we can cater to what people want.
Whatever, yeah. I mean, if everybody really doesn't like this certain thing, well, some leagues that's good because they're focusing on a different thing, and they don't have the flexibility to do certain things, but they don't need it because what they need is to be able to cater to what their target and core customer group is.
Right.
Terry Kurt says, have you considered putting the players' Fargo rate along with their names when you type them in? Actually, there's been a lot of consideration on that kind of thing because there's an ability to use, and like I was just saying, the ability to have predictions made by Fargo rate, and they'll do that for what? AccuStats has their own stats, but they have like TPI and all that. But CSI will do that.
Right.
It'll say he's a so-and-so favorite.
Well, actually, with the new tournament software that we're using, it has such a great relationship with Fargo. It actually has, you can use the settings to choose Fargo Fair Match, and it will tell you what their Fargo rating is and the bracketing.
And the beautiful thing about that is that before there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that are difficult to overcome. And what you'll find out with any kind of database organization or database entry and all this, you'll start having duplicates, you'll start having misspellings, you'll start having that. So if you connect the dots from everything, doing it through software, you're going to have a lot less errors involved. And so this
right.
new software is going to probably be a really good.
It is, because I don't have to enter anybody in every time I do a tournament. They're in a stored database, and their name is tied to their Fargo ID. So you can't make the mistake there.
So what we've got is now the next step is that Terry's asking about is, can we get that on the live stream? And the answer is yes. It's just
absolutely.
a matter of being able to get to these things. And there's probably a list of 200 items that people would like to get to. We would all like to get to have the best things done yesterday. And so, yes, we thought about this. In fact, we thought about it a long time ago. But what that means is we'll have to redo a lot of graphic work to make it look pretty on the screen. I mean, you could put it up there real quick, but it's just a matter of, it's a process. And so if we were spending time doing things like going to a new bracket software, well, that was times we weren't spending making new graphics for the page to show that. So I would suggest that, and it's always been my feeling and always my belief in this, that as long as we are making progress and we are moving forward and we are adding functionality, we are adding, it's not just functionality. It's better scheduling of announcers. It's better. We want to improve. We want to do these things for pool, for everybody, and so we'll get to that, Terry, because yes, it is in our future. I mean, when I say I mean the future of Tri-State broadcast, whatever, right?
Well,
we want better things. So the improvements, that's an improvement that is on the list. We'd like to thank the internet for not working. Let me look real quick. 312. It's still down. Internet. I don't think so, because that's not that.
We lost internet.
Is it possible?
Is that OB shut down?
It looks like it's internet, not. I tell you what, that's a good timing, though. Do you want me to move?
No, I just want to turn on my...
Do you want me to work at getting on your phone?
I got it.
You got tethering there? Okay.
Okay.
Well, that was quick. I got tethering on mine now that I could do it with if I had to. It's like, and now that stuff works genius now. When we started, that stuff was terrible. We would like to welcome Crazy Bob back to your homes. So we had a little glitch there with the internet. We would like to thank the NSA and the DARPA and all of those people in the government who keep the internet running for us for turning us off during the middle of the hot seat match. Thank you very much. But we are back because those people can't stop or keep the Sheriff Pat Akers down. His phone is here to save us in a time of need, and we are back on the hot seat match. All right, this special performance of Crazy Bob returning to give you some information on all this. The other thing too, I guess Terry, I could point out about considering putting the Fargo rates next to the players. Really, like Pat or like Mickey was saying, there was a lot of time in getting Fargo rates set up to where people were established enough to run a tournament like this. This tournament was unable to be ran with brand new Fargo rated people because there wasn't enough data in the system. So it wasn't very useful as a system because it wasn't established. I mean, again, that's where it takes time. So instead of putting their numbers up and people having the discussions about, oh, that person is wrong, Fargo rate's terrible because that person doesn't have this number. So you have to also start putting into their robustness information that way that you could also discuss, well, this person, because right now, Tyler Cordova is actually not established player. So there's not enough data system to make it totally accurate for him, but he's getting close. And a lot of people would say his number is in the ballpark of good, but it's not something that you can have any degree of certitude that it is accurate. So as it gets more established in the area, as it gets more established with lower rated players, because like I said, from professionals down, it's less and less established as you move down the list. So I think this is a process, and that process is one that OnCue took on very early compared to a lot of other areas. And there you go. Vince gets the win on that one. And 3-1, Vince over Tyler. This is a battle. This is for the hot seat. So it's a matter of having the data available, and so yes, we thought about that. We thought about putting up percentages based on things, kind of like they'll do at the CSI tournaments. They're 8-ball and 10-ball U.S. Opens. We thought about having graphics where the ball number of what ball is down and what have you. We thought about a lot of stuff. I've done some things with the Pocket City Pool live streams that are unique and improvements. It's really appearing to me that this new bracket system that they're working with instead of Challenge that we were working with, it looks like that's a big improvement. And the next deal is they'll have API hooks to hook up that tournament software, that bracket software, to where we'll be able to get to that kind of stuff in the future. Hopefully, and it's like anything else, I mean, I had a 13-inch black and white television, and now I've got a 60-inch color television that is not in my house, and I can't watch movies because it's at the pub still. But that's a side diversion. And then this television that we're watching in front of us is somewhere in between those two.
Yeah, this is a 40-inch, I believe.
Yeah, now who knows? It's one of those.
I kind of know TV's a little bit, working in rent-own for 15 years.
Yeah, so I've got no idea. It's just I know it's not like my 13-inch that I shared with my sister in 1983 or whatever.
I don't understand that at all.
Oh, it's terrible. Sharing something with you mean the pool?
Yeah, I thought he went into them balls, that 6 and 14, but he didn't.
I like all the advances that you all have been making. Keep moving forward. Well, it's not without your efforts, and your efforts at creating the perfect pun on Facebook. Those are efforts that are also contributing to our world in pool as well.
By the way, you missed it a few minutes ago. Terry said he needs a nickname.
Terry does not need a nickname. His own name is a nickname. Have you read See, it took us about 16 months to get his name spelled right in the system.
No Val Terry?
No Val Terry. That's not a terrible one. Oh, it's got to have something to do with that.
Yeah, he has no vowels in his name.
Terry Butthurt Kurt because he cannot. He's upset we've not spelled his name in the system right.
God, it was bad for a while.
It was not bad for a while. It was bad for a long while. We do want to apologize to Terry for him having such a terrible name.
I don't know if we should. Yeah, I don't know if we should apologize.
Yeah, we should apologize.
It's his fault for having a name with no vowels.
It's not something that it took me about. The spelling expert that I am.
Wow, look at this.
That was one hell of a shot. By the way,
I was on you for many weeks.
Well, I tell you what, We appreciate it. Without your efforts there, Terry, we would never be able to create or to fix spelling errors as well as we have.
But is there really a spelling error there?
You could spell his name in any way, shape, or form. You could spell it with A's and G's.
I mean, I think his name is spelled wrong.
Cubs. Oh, hey, that Wheel of Fortune, Terry Kurt. We'll come up with a nickname. We'll come up with something for you, but it's. He was not happy though for a long time there. It was one of those deals
He
where
said we came from a poor family, couldn't afford to buy a Val.
I like that. I mean, that's got to be
awesome.
worked into. How about Terry Pork Family Kurt? I want to go back to the early live streams and I want to see my pronunciation of it because I know that's good. That's got to be good because I remember trying to
Churreat.
churt. We're not even mentioning the two T's at the end. So that's if you want the nickname, this is what you have to go through to get one, and we will just keep it as cool as the Bucket of Sherbert it is. Bucket of Sherbert is also an apt nickname for you, Terry Bucket of Sherbert Kurt. Bucket of Sherbert Kurt. Sherbert Kurt. It rhymes. We've got something here.
Terry no Val, Bucket of Sherbert Kurt.
Oh, I like it. Drunk people seem to do better with my name. I probably did okay. You know, you probably told me, and I probably got it at some point. But I would have probably. There might be 48 of you in Fargo. It's possible because your name is in particular. I have the same issue though. Actually, I am Robert L. Darling III, but I'm also known as Crazy Bob and Bob Darling and Robert Darling III, Bob Darling III.
There's a bunch.
There's enough. I mean, we got most of them switched out, you know, but luckily all of mine play the same. Did you know that? Mine were all within like 10, 15 points of each other for a while there, of my Fargo duplicates.
Oh, your name's in Fargo.
Yeah. Luckily I had that going for me. And there's struggles at anything that comes up. If I had my feeling of the number one thing that could be improved in the live streams at this moment, it'd be really getting the replay stuff and also incorporating highlights into that for between matches in the future. Now, again, this is something that's being done with one person, two people. We don't have production trucks. We don't have buckets of sherbet being brought to us in a green room before the thing. We have Tupperware bowls full of streaming equipment. It's not Tupperware bowls, but it's...
They're Tupperware...
I don't know, what is that thing called?
Bins?
Tupperware bins. We have Tupperware bins full of equipment, and we have our own arms, legs, and voices. And
it works.
Oh, I forgot. I'm sorry. I got to take that back. That's not the best improvement. The next improvement. The best improvement, the next improvement, should be a better chair. Oh, that would make the live stream so much better. It's hard to believe that, but it's true. My ass has contributed to some very terrible live streams because of the misery of how I was sitting. Yeah, see, that 6-ball is not bad. He's not going to be hating that too much.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's the shot he wanted.
Of course he didn't want it, but
now he's got to travel back down.
He kind of.
he's
maybe does he want to get into that 13 ball? Is that the deal, or does he want to get behind it?
He's solid.
He's doing good. That's good. No, as a backstop. Actually, that's a really good shot.
Yeah, because he can just pull this back. If he goes too far, he hits the 13. He's fine.
Brandon McNeely joins the program. This is Mickey Hammond here in the broadcast booth with a special Crazy Bob edition of the OnCue November 10th, 2018 OnCue 32-man Fargo rate tournament. I don't know what the getting those titles. Maybe we should make those titles better too.
Well, I don't know.
There's got to be a way.
It's the same, like you said.
You know what? Here's something I've always wanted to know.
Uh-oh.
No,
Okay,
look
he
at
got
that.
back
He
there.
put
He
the
got
spin.
back
He
there.
put the spin on that to make it really, really nice.
I thought he's going to be in trouble.
Maybe a measle ball would help that for the
Yeah,
live
it
stream.
would.
We
At
would see
least
the
you could
spin on
see
it.
the spin on it.
I don't know. Just thinking about if you sit around and you think about, start dreaming up the kind of things you'd like to add, it starts to get big. Mindy K, whoever Mindy K is, I used to know a Mindy. She used to, oh man, I put a defense on her. People start criticizing me, and then she banks out on me. I'm glad that Mindy's gone. But it's Mindy K. I'd like to.
Luckily it's a different Mindy.
I think it's a different Mindy. Hi, Mindy. How are you doing? My name is Robert. Magic racks? No, that's terrible. That's a terrible idea, Terry Kurt. And I will and no. Whoever sponsors Magic Rack or whoever anything out there, well, unfortunately, you're never going to sponsor anything I do. I don't like Magic racks.
Greg
so
Davis, we
to the
appreciate
next.
it.
What was I? No.
Well, we
go
missed
back
Greg
up.
Davis.
We'll go back up.
He just said, "Hey, good job. Pool's getting in the way. Work gets in the way of pool," and, we agree.
Oh yeah, working does get in the way of that pool. Working sounds terrible. Man, I would hate to have a job. That would be terrible.
Well, it is.
Oh well. All right. I hope people with jobs who are here. I hope their boss isn't listening. All right, magic racks. No, magic racks. No, they're terrible. No. How's that?
So why?
I just hate them.
Oh, I ain't saying one way or the other. I'm just saying, why do you hate them? Can you back it up for a reason?
I mean, I can bet. I mean, how long you got? How long you got?
I personally don't like magic rack either.
I hate them. I don't like the fact that there's something on the table after the break has been made, so then they go back and they kind of pull it out and all this kind of stuff. I think it's bad for television that way. I mean, I don't like a lot of things about Magic Rack, but I think they artificially put more pressure amongst the balls, so that it makes it so it does make a more consistent rack. But I think that the more consistent rack is not necessarily what you're after with the break. The break is very specifically to be a randomy sort of thing to get started with. If you have something that's more standard across the board, then the breaker gets more advantage.
Right.
If you have a randomized generator, if you will, of something, then that's in effect. It's kind of like when you play chess, you've got black versus white, and white is always first. Since white is always first, you run into a situation where white has an extreme advantage. That extreme advantage makes so again, the break gives it advantage anyway for the better players and all that sort of thing. The Magic Rack takes it to another level, and it takes it to a level that is negative, in my opinion, and not positive. So that it also takes longer to rack with a Magic Rack.
It does.
On average.
It adds time, yeah.
Except when you're talking about people who are very persnickety about their rack, because they can sometimes take a long, long time to rack as well. Again, that's bad for viewership, but it's good for the player playing. So, yes, I've got a lot of...
Keith, this tournament is in Evansville, Indiana at O'Brien's Sports Bar and Grill. We got 7 beautiful 7-foot diamond tables and 2 9-foot diamond tables.
Brandon McNeely is throwing Vince under the bus and saying, "Come on, Tyler."
He's rooting for somebody, you know.
I guess you got to. I can't because I have journalistic integrity.
Well, you always got to root for somebody.
Let's see. Greg Davis, whatever happened to the Sardo tight rack?
Oh, my God, it was the
worst. Is that the thing that had the...
It was the worst invention ever. Don't
No, it was beautiful. I love the Sardo.
No, it was horrible.
It's one that I think...
You rode the balls under
and you pushed the button?
You just pushed the rack down.
Oh, you pushed the rack down, okay. There's the ones in the back where you had the back thing. And anyone...
Mindy, Bobby's out. But no, the Sardo rack was horrible.
That wasn't the one I was thinking of. But I will say, Terry Smith is the one who showed me this one that I'm talking about, and it must have 4,000 pieces in it to make it work. It's an invention, all right.
Well, the Sardo rack was like $100, and the balls rolled under it.
I've seen it.
Pressed it down.
I've seen
I hated
actually.
that thing.
Sardo dimpled the felt. There you go. There's the answer.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Terry bucket of sherbet Kurt. Actually, just sherbet Kurt. How about sherbet?
Well,
Sherbert's his nickname.
We got to do something with the vowels, with no vowels in his name.
Kurt, it works.
I mean, the guy's got a name with no vowels.
I tell you what, that is cooler than a bucket of sherbet.
That has to be the key.
I don't know. We're going to work on it. We're going to work on it. We are going to work on it.
Tyler just made a very big mistake.
It's going to cost him, but he's still alive. This is the hot seat.
Yeah, this is the hot seat match. So he's
in the money.
3rd place. That's right.
What kind of money are we talking about? Because that's another. That's an addition to the live streaming that I think should be part of it. I think the announcing what a nice shot there. Drains the center pocket. Tyler gets the loss, and Vince Parsons gets the win. 5-2 on the hot seat is Vince Parsons. Nice job by Vince Parsons. He's been doing really well at a lot of tournaments lately. This is also one of them.
Well, we'll see what match we got coming up next.
We're going to give smoke signals over to Pat.
I just gave him the scores of this match, so he knows what it is.
I'll tell you what, we gave like fancy hand signals and stuff.
It wasn't fancy. I held 5 on one and 2 on another. I don't know if it's fancy, but
I think what he was doing was telling him 7.
okay.
But instead,
I guess there's 2 ways.
You
to
guys have it
perceive that.
together.
Yes,
and
we
you
do.
know that means 5-2.
Yes.
All right, good for you guys. Good for you guys having that light, that taken care of.
It's probably getting time. I forgot. I did not figure up the payouts.
Ooh.
I better get that done here in a minute.
Yeah, because I think I like the idea of that being broadcast early, like early, just because there's a lot of good reasons for that. But then again, broadcasting the Calcutta's weird because sometimes, well, places don't like you to run Calcuttas. We've run into that a couple
We
times.
don't run Calcuttas.
Oh, I don't know what to.
We run a player auction.
I don't even know what that means either. So, I used to call it player support, or something. I forget because they're pretty persnickety about it in Illinois. I don't think they're that persnickety about it here.
No, and you know why they are in Illinois?
I have no idea.
Because gambling is illegal, or is legal, and they got machines in their taverns and bars and pool halls.
So they have player support before the tournament sometimes?
Yep, exactly.
I don't know what that is and what that means, but it's we
yeah.
used to be very careful. We wouldn't broadcast
Yeah,
it.
I've done tournaments where I had to go outside.
It got really cold all of a sudden.
I know.
Jeez, I gotta get a coat or something.
Yeah, I've done tournaments we had to go.
Woo!
We had to go outside and do the auction.
I like that. That sounds like fun.
We did it, and it's been cold. Where we had to go outside.
Oh shit, I'm cold now.
We couldn't do it indoors.
I got real cold there. Woo!
Hey Pat, what match?
Oh, and the actually, again, when I think of the best things to improve upon on these live streams, I always miss the ones that are obvious sometimes. The number one way to improve the live streams, get sponsorship. If we had sponsorship, we could improve all the other ones. So anybody out there who'd like to sponsor what we're trying to do here, feel free to do so. By the way, I think we're running low on time. We're at 3:31 in this live stream. You've got Crazy Bob. Ooh, pseudo GoFundMe player support. Crowdfunding. That's what we should have called the live stream or the Calcutta. Crowdfunding. In fact, what do you guys think about that? One of the things that paying for the live stream is actually one of the most important things that needs to be figured out. We've done a whole lot of work with with a whole lot of not making money. So sponsorship is the obvious way to do so, and it's hard. It's hard to accomplish. We've gotten sponsors from time to time, and we really appreciate everything that they've done. For instance, the Expressway Dodge Tournament Series last month at the pub was one that we got some very good sponsorship. As it turns out, we still lost money, but it was an expensive one because we had to get an entire place set up. All right, I saw it. It was. I tell you what, you need to do something to really earn your Mad Dad nickname. You get throw something at him or something.
I'm not gonna throw nothing. I'm trying to boost all this shit.
I'll tell you what, keep centered, baby. Hey, Tyler Cordova, if you keep centered, it'll be good. Stay centered.
Guaranteed in the money, that's all that matters, I guess.
That's what I'm talking about. What are you buying me? Why can't I go out to eat with you?
Because you're doing the live.
The hell, I've only got about 30 minutes left. Anyway, so yeah, funding this. Funding this is something, and yes, everybody just dropped off because we're watching one ball sitting on a table. But this is a special broadcast with a special broadcaster who's still sitting here. I guess we lost Mickey to go figure out the money that everyone's going to get paid. Will establish allow you to do 50-50 raffles. So 50-50 raffles are clearly illegal. So maybe, I'm not sure, but that's absolutely been thought of. In fact, the some of the stuff. Hey, jump on, Pat. Oh shit! I'm gonna have to do this by myself. Other ways, I mean, ideas are important. One of the ones I actually like is if you do a Calcutta or if you do a player auction or a crowdfunding or whatever you call it, then what you could do is take. And in fact, this is what I'm going to do next month or next week, is taking 10% off of the Calcutta for the purpose of the charity. So in this case, it's a funding of Chemo Buddies, which is an organization that keeps people company while they're going through their chemo, because a lot of people in that situation don't have people there with them. So well, oddly enough, I did that for about 2 years. So that's a charity that I knew about, and he didn't really have a cancer specific charity, so it was one that I chose, and I was told to basically do that kind of thing based on what I saw fit. Since I've felt that Calcutta money might be the right money to go after on some level, the only problem is it takes away the incentive for people to gamble it up, if you will. If it was a real gambled up Calcutta, 5% does wonders. If it was a poorly done Calcutta, then, or poorly participated in Calcutta, then 10% is not enough. So it's hard to say. I mean, you're talking about several $1,000s worth of equipment. You're talking about several people's time, and nobody would do this. This is a labor of love for us. We don't expect to be paid even minimum wage. That's not the issue. The issue is that improvements can't be made, and things can't be consistent, and the things that you guys want can't be done because someone can't sit here for 14 straight hours in an uncomfortable chair and talk to you. Yes, I'm the one with the ability to do so, but I can't do it over time. And that's been proven. But anyway, so making improvements, that's the key. And the holy grail of that is selling sponsorships. And then so to do so, you need to prove that you're valuable to the sponsors. So there you go. The Terry Bet You Can't Spell It Kurt. That's not bad, Greg Davis. I like that. Of course, I'm biased to Terry the Sherbert Kurt, or Terry Sherbert Kurt, or Terry Bucket of Sherbert Kurt. But that's only because he did give me the winning answer for I need a new catchphrase. And that was actually one of the better times we've had live streaming. We had a lot of participation in that. And people were kept coming up with all this stuff, and I'd try to weave it into the live streaming, and well, anyone that they gave me, no matter what it was. I mean, there was some crazy ones too. I mean, but the craziest was Terry's. That's cooler than a bucket of sherbet, and it's probably been my catchphrase more than any other ever since. Congratulations, Terry Burt Kurt, Sherbert Kurt. Bet you can't spell it, Kurt. There's, I don't know, you can make up all kinds of them, but they would be like personal nicknames that I might have for someone. I guess that's kind of how ESPN was doing that with Berman. It really was, Terry. I mean, yeah, he says been a staple catchphrase since that night. I don't know that I've done a live stream since then that has not included the phrase, that's cooler than a bucket of sherbet. So I appreciate that, Terry. That's, like I said, we appreciate what you were doing here to help us. And I've tried it a number of times. I've tried to get this to go again, and we've not had that. The other things, I guess the stuff we've been talking about it. We've been talking about improvements and all that, and the number one improvement that could be made in the pool community in general is people working together a little bit better when it's necessary. You don't take the competition out of stuff and different organizations and all that, but you just every once in a while. It's really good to have people to work together, even if they're competitors. I like to think of that as kind of the Ralph and Sheepdog, Sam and Ralph, the Sheepdog and Wile E. Coyote, those cartoons where they would just battle it out day in and day out, but they would ride together to work, and they would eat lunch together, and they would, clock out and clock in, but then they go back to battling each other. And I think that's how a real healthy pool community would work. I think it's just one of those things that you just go and beat each other on the head just as terribly as you can, and then once the whistle blows, then you go eat lunch together or you have fun. I mean, I know that Vince Parsons and Tyler, Mad Dad Cordova, are now eating together after Tyler got beat 5-2 in this last race. So It's a good example of working together for dinner and at the same time competing against one another. And that's, I think, the best explanation that I have for why or what would be a good way to do things. So, and that's where we're at right now. We've got the 17th at the pub, 1352 East Division Street in Evansville. It's really a lot of what the realization of what Terry Smith's dreams were. He was unable to make the tournament last month, excuse me, with the big tournament there. The Expressway Dodge Tournament Series, in fact. He was unable to make that, and because he was in the hospital, and we wanted to put on another tournament that was going to be able to showcase what he was able to miss, because we were wanting to set that up as a pool hall for the future and his legacy, because he knew he had cancer, but he did not know that it would take him so soon. So we set up another tournament for the 16th and 17th, and it was to be that showcase that he missed before, so he'd be able to get out of the hospital in time to go ahead and see that. And unfortunately now, this is the purpose of that tournament is now a memorial tournament. And we would like to have you all out there, but in his honor and in his wishes, we want to make that a large payout. We want to make that an exciting event, and all sponsorship that we're receiving is going towards player payout. So we're at $500 right now added for this tournament. We'd like to get it well over $1,000 if we could. So I'm going to start working on that more actively. And in fact, I need to go home and do some work on some other stuff here in a little bit. So I don't have too much longer with you. In fact, Pat Akers, I don't know what you've got as far as waiting on the next tournament, but we are down to 3 hours and 41 minutes is the total. So what was that? All right. So what I might do, I want to sit here and jabber jaw about Mickey. Is it Mickey? About Mickey warming up on a table here for whatever, as much as the next guy. But I would also like to. I'd also like to get to work on doing the flyers that I need to get done. So I might be heading out here in just a little bit, but we will have the 4th video here coming up fairly soon. As you guys know, we have 4 hours to have a video. We're at 3:43 right now, so the next match will not be able to go too far. So, Hannah Helm, welcome to the program. You've seen a lot of the growth of this stuff firsthand, so thank you for everything that you've done, supporting us, watching us. Everybody out there. I'm not going to ask you guys to share and care right now. We don't have anything going. But anybody out there, if you guys would like to donate something to Chemo Buddies, the best way to do that is to enter this tournament next week. $10 per team will be matched. So your $10 becomes $20 for a great cause. It's all voluntary. This is the second charity tournament I've ever ran. And both of them, I made sure that everything that was donated was voluntary. Jim Monday says, is having a Calcutta legal in all states? It's obviously not legal in all states. So because we know of Illinois, and it's not legal in Illinois. So we know that much. And is it legal in all situations? Well, it's definitely not legal in all situations, because in Indiana, I know that we had a problem with having Calcuttas at the Derby City stuff because it was in a casino. And we had the same thing here with the issue of
Brad and Wayne Jenkins.
that is a great matchup, but we need to get this switched over. So what's going on? We got Brad Hutchins coming to play Hurricane Wayne Jenkins, and this is as good as it gets. This is Illinois. Oh, it's not Illinois. This is Kentucky versus Kentucky. This is Paducah versus Owensboro. This is everything you could want or need. This is a matchup of styles, and it's unfortunately a matchup of the same style, methodical, well thought out, calm, cool, collected. Sometimes we like to see a puncher versus a boxer or a brawler versus a boxer. Well, we're not going to see that here. We're going to see two intelligent players, methodical players, really just great players battle it out. So everybody, we're switching it over to the next stream. This next stream is going to be Wayne Jenkins, the Hurricane, versus Brad Hutchins. We don't have a nickname for him yet. Here you go. We're turning off.